Assalamualaikum and welcoming all of you at BD Digital Maritime Platform. Today lecture number 10 and the title we have taken Onboard Ballast Water Management. The reason for selecting this topic basically during ballasting, deballasting or ballast water exchange at sea, so many incidents including accidents already happened. For example, during ballasting at upbeat tank, steering gear room flooded, or during deballasting from cargo hold number 6 in a capsized vessel, the total hatch cover, hatch combing and the bulkhead damaged badly. Or even a car carrier during ballast water exchange at sea was listed about 80 degrees on the port side, which means this ballasting, deballasting or ballast water exchange is not a job of low risk, which is having basically high degree of risk. So we need to conduct this kind of operation more carefully, more with cautions or attentively. And that's why we have selected this title basically. Now, the ballast water. The ballast water is absolutely important for a ship in order to control trim of the vessel, list correction, draft adjustment, stability of the vessel, and also longitudinal stresses of the ship like the bending moment, shearing force or torsional forces. But that ballast water may contain aquatic organisms or pathogens which if introduced may create hazard to the environment, human health, property and resources, impair biological diversity. And it is estimated that at least 7,000 different species are being carried by ships' ballast water around the world. For this reason, IMO has developed guidelines for the development and implementation of ballast water management on board the ship for the purpose of preventing, minimizing, and ultimately eliminating the risks of introducing harmful aquatic organisms and pathogens from ships' ballast water and associated sediment. And the final outcome is International Convention for the Control and Management of Ships' Ballast Water and Sediment. Now we can see this picture that ballast water management, the three part we can see: exchange, treatment and the isolation. Exchange means it was at present it is contingency plan basically. Before coming treatment we used to do exchange for complying with this convention regulation basically, like the flow through method, empty refill method, dilution method. But the treatment at present worldwide almost all the vessels are using the treatment system for taking or pumping out the ballast water. And isolation means whenever a vessel takes the ballast water, she will not discharge that water in other places. Either she will keep on board the ship or she will dispose to the shore facility the ballast water, which belongs to isolation method. Now, the onboard documentation for ballast water management. The below certificates or documents must be available on board the ship as evidence that onboard ballast water are being managed properly or accurately. Number 1, International Ballast Water Management Certificate. Number 2, Ballast Water Management Plan, which must be approved by the class. Number 3, Ballast Water Management Plan approval letter from the flag, and also Management Plan revision history from the flag. Now, type approval certificate of installed ballast water treatment system from manufacturer. Statement of fact from the class about the ballast water treatment system, ballast water record book on board, ballast water pumping test record, crew training at regular interval. Whenever new joiners join the vessel, they must get the familiarization about the ballast water management plan or the treatment system. That record should be on board the ship. Ballast water reporting forms, SMS checklist filled up as applicable, management and disposal of sediment, ballast water sampling and testing results from shore, and ballast water management plan appendix. These are the basically certificates and documents which are supposed to be on board the ship, available at all times. Now, before going in details, let's have few incident or accident happened during this operation, ballasting, deballasting or ballast water exchange. Number one incident, flooding is steering gear room during ballasting at up-peak tank. Why? One vessel has encountered incident of the steering gear room flooded during burst out of up-peak tank airbend pipe. See here, the vessel was taking ballast water at up-peak tank for trim adjustment. Alarm sounded at steering stand and steering command failed to follow. The master ordered to change emergency steering and discovered that due to burst of the airbend pipe of up-peak tank, the steering gear room flooded already. And also emergency fire pump submerged. And finally they found that this is basically due to the deterioration of the airbend pipe burst out. This incident happened already. And that's all about it. Okay, we can see the picture here. The steering gear room, water and water too much is just flowing. Too much water, which happened due to basically up-peak tank airbend pipe burst out. And second picture, this is the airbend pipe of the up-peak which was burst out and all the water came out during ballasting and finally the situation flooded of the steering gear room. Now coming for incident number 2, what happened? Damage of cargo hold due to not opening ventilators of hatch cover during deballasting of a capsized vessel. What happened basically? One capsized vessel, bulk carrier, damaged hatch cover, hatch combing, upper deck, bulkhead number 6 of cargo hold due to human error, which means once the chief officer started deballasting of the cargo hold number 6, he overlooked to open the ventilator of the hatch cover, which created a vacuum inside the cargo hold and damaged or dented or damaged hatch cover, hatch combing, bulkhead and so on. And we can see all the pictures, hatch cover, hatch combing, dented so badly. And finally the vessel was taken to dry dock for about 2 weeks to repair these things, which means huge cost. Now coming for number 3 incident, which happened basically during ballast water exchange at sea. We can see one car carrier listed about 80 degrees on the port side, south of the Aleutian Island, North Pacific Ocean. What happened basically, that car carrier was carrying about 4,813 new cars from Japan to Vancouver. But during the ballast water exchange, due to human error mistakes, the vessel was listed about 80 degrees. And we can see the picture of that car carrier, which was listed about 80 degrees and disabled. And the vessel was abandoned, all the crew were rescued from there. And that was another picture of the same car carrier. We can see the disaster of the car carrier, which happened due to ballast water exchange time for human errors. And now number 4 incident we can share, that is engine room flooding due to deballasting of human error. For example, one vessel had experienced incident of flooding engine room during deballasting due to miscommunication and not following the correct procedure. In fact, after alongside in a very fast loading port, engine department carried out maintenance of the sea chest, opening the sea chest and carried out cleaning of the strainer, while the chief officer was unknown about this fact. So after completing the cleaning and inspection of the sea chest, engineers and oiler returned the strainer and to be followed by the sea chest cover But the engineers were surprised when the seawater coming out slowly from the sea chest. On the other side, chief officer, after finishing the initial draft survey, he need to start deballasting as soon as possible. So he called the engine room to give the 2 ballast pumps. They told that it will take some time. So meantime, chief officer, what he did? Meantime, chief officer, he lined up all the valve he opened already. He opened all the valve for deballasting once the engine room is ready. Immediately, the engineers were, while nearly finished closing the sea chest cover, but the water is coming out with full volume. So immediately they raised the emergency call, all alarm, and call the chief officer that engine room is going to be flooded. Please close if any valve is open. So chief officer immediately closed all the valves, but within 3 minutes only, about 200 cubic meter of ballast water already inside the engine room. And we can see this plan also, where this red marking valve was opened by chief officer from the ballast control room. The sea chest is here. Sea chest strainer cover, they opened the engine department, and the water came out from this way, and the engine room was almost flooded. So now coming, whenever, especially the management level officer engineers join the vessel, they must read ballast water management plan for that ship, and after reading, understanding, they will have to put the signature here. And whenever any change come at the ballast water management plan, that must be also recorded here. Now is coming for responsibilities of onboard ballast water management officer. What are the responsibilities? The duties of appointed ballast water management officer, usually chief officer, is the onboard ballast water management officer, are as follows. Ensure that ballast water management and the treatment procedure are followed and recorded. Where ballast operation is required, follow the procedure in the ballast water management plan and the operation manual of the ballast water treatment system. Ensure adequate and enough personnel and equipment are available for the execution of the treatment. And also ballast water record book to be filled up as required. Prepare the appropriate national or port ballast water declaration form before arrival to the destination. And assist port state control and quarantine officer for any sampling which may need to be undertaken. And do the familiarization of the new joiners and also conduct the crew training at regular intervals. And other duties specified by the master or the company. And must ensure that the ballast water management plan is clearly understood by the appointed ballast water management officer and by other personnel which may be involved with the operation. And after understanding, they must put the signature that they clearly understood about what is written inside the ballast water management plan. Now about the crew familiarization and training of ballast water management system. If the crew members understand the reason for exchange or treatment of the ballast water and associated sediments, they are more likely to ensure that it will be carried out more effectively and efficiently. That's why it is imparted priority to ensure that master, officer, engineers and crew have been understand the need of ballast water management with proper training, which means basically at regular interval, proper training must be given to onboard all crew members. And that training or familiarization will follow. We'll point, these are the following items, like the ship's pumping or ballast water treatment arrangement, location of air and sounding pipes, the position of ballast tank suction and pipelines, overboard discharge arrangement, inspection and maintenance of sounding pipes, air bend pipes, and so on. And the time and circumstances required to undertake ballast water exchange or operation, method for ballast water operation at sea, And for sampling, what is the sampling procedure on board the ship to collect ballast water or sediment? And also operational information of ballast water treatment system, including inspection, maintenance, and backup procedure. And more things about the safety of the vessel. We'll have to ensure the emergency action or procedure in case of power failure, in case of malfunctioning of the ballast water treatment system. Ballast water record book to be updated and maintenance of the records. And operation and maintenance of installed ballast water treatment system. And the how to maintain during the operation safety of the personnel and safety of the total overall of the ship. And for entering, if the sediment removal procedure to be followed, then what will be the procedure for entering the enclosed space, water ballast tank for collecting sediments or removal purpose, and so on. So after giving the training or familiarization, normally this form need to be filled up accordingly. Now is coming ballasting, deballasting operation procedure and points to be observed. Basically, the chief officer, in order to maintain optimum draft or record draft, trim, stability, and the hull strength of the ship, he will plan accordingly. How much water will be taken inside or how much will be pumped out. So at that time, he will prepare the plan, either ballasting or deballasting plan, and of course he will give the notice to engine room, and also when having the ballasting work carried out by the officer of the watch, get him to have a full understanding of the operation, which means when the officer of the watch is involved with this operation, he must be well acquainted about this operation procedure. Now, same thing, they notify the duty engineer, and of course, chief officer will ensure that for ballasting or deballasting, the proper lineup has been done. After that, after ensuring that all the required valves are opened, and he will start the ballast pump accordingly and execute the operation of the ballast pump as per the plan. As soon as I start the ballasting in, please take sounding of the tanks or monitor that the water is going at that particular tank. And also periodically sound the ballast tanks. Sounding of non-ballasting tanks to confirm that there is no mistake of flowing water in other tanks. And when the work is finished, please close all the record valve and inform the engine room, which is very much normal operation. Points to observe. Please do not leave the vicinity of the ballast control panel. Pay careful attention to prevent overflow from the air vent. Pay attention to the trim, heel, and exit of the vessel. Harbor has regulation for the filling and discharging of ballast, so please comply with that one. If ballast tanks are located adjacent to the fuel oil tanks, or there is a possibility of contamination of fuel oil, ensure that the water in the ballast tanks is uncontaminated prior to discharge outside. Only ballast tanks adjacent to oil tanks or ballast tanks on the pipelines, ballast water containing oil sheen on the surface should not be discharged at all. And of course, the age vessel, they have the possibility of encountering many casualties such as flooding and water ingress inside the cargo hold. Okay, in addition to the above SMS procedure, please take care of the following items. Check the condition of internal ballast tank construction. Do not put any object in front of the ballast related pipes which will obstruct the visual check, especially in the forepeak store or also steering gear room. And don't make overflow the ballast water through the air vent pipe. Already mentioned this one. And please always monitor the sounding of ballast tank and cargo bilges to ensure that no water leakage has been occurred, and also check cargo hold frequently if there is any trace of leakage.